Well, South Carolina, our cold front has officially passed. Cold front has officially passed, and we had gusty winds moving through today. And as we can all feel, it is cooler outside. That will continue throughout a good amount of the week, and we'll talk about when those warm temperatures will come back. Fire weather as well does continue, and we're going to talk about potentially a relief from this drought and potentially a relief from all of this fire weather as we get later into this weekend, going into next week. So, a lot of things to talk about. Let's go on and just start off with talking about what's currently going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina. Nice and dry. Not seeing a single shower, not a single thunderstorm, not a single sprinkle, nothing. Nice and dry throughout the state of South Carolina. But if we scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., obviously that is not the case. We are talking about shower activity going on in New York, going on in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, some rainfall with some snowfall going on in the Northeast, as well as some heavy rainfall going on down there in Texas with the storm going on. We also do have some rainfall in Arizona, New Mexico, and the West Coast. Florida getting in as well on some rainfall. Now, what's going on right now in terms of our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now seems to be moving east, moving away from us, and that is expected. That is expected as this cloud cover continues to move off the coast to the Atlantic. Now, what's going on in terms of our long-term cloud cover? If we want to push this forward, this goes into tomorrow morning here at around like 6 o'clock in the morning, going all the way to around 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., all the way to around 12 p.m. on Monday. And now we're talking about still nice, clear conditions going on throughout the entire state as we go into tomorrow at noon. But now if you push this forward even more, all the way into the evening hours, going into the nighttime hours, going into Monday night, Tuesday, early morning, still no cloud cover even as we go into potentially noon or so. Now, what about for our current temperatures? Right now, we're talking about low 60s, maybe some mid 60s, 61 Somerville, 66 Beaufort, 63 Charleston, 58 Conway, 60s from Myrtle Beach to Georgetown, 58 in Columbia, 57 in Orangeburg, 56 in Bennettsville, 52 Lancaster, Rock Hill, 56 in Greenville, 55 Spartanburg, 59 in Clemson. Now, what about for our air quality? Air quality, we're actually good. I mean, everybody is inside of the good. Not one moderate at all is in sight throughout the state right now. So we are nice in terms of the air quality for tonight. Now, what about for our low temperatures? Low temperatures, this is going to be a bit different than what we have normally seen because we're talking about 40s from Greenville to Spartanburg, 43, Rock Hill, 48, Columbia, 46, Orangeburg, 45, Walterboro, 54, Charleston, 50 in Myrtle Beach. So we're talking about 40s, low 40s, all the way up to high 40s, potentially getting into some lower 50s, maybe even some high 50s, especially down there near Hilton Head Island. High temperatures for tomorrow, we're talking about high temperatures 75 or so from Greenville down through Newberry, 78 in Columbia, 74 in Spartanburg, 75 also in Moncks Corner, Charleston, Kingstree, Hilton Head Island, 72 Myrtle Beach. So 70s, widespread 70s throughout the entire state tomorrow. Now, what about for rainfall? Rainfall, we are nice and dry. No rainfall is going on. And we look like that we are going to continue to just see those drought conditions continue to ramp up, seeing that drying activity continue because no rainfall. Speaking of, I do want to see inside the chat today for the people inside of South Carolina, because let's see how many people we got in here. I mean, a good amount. So I think I might get a response or two. But did we see rain today? Did we see rain today? That's my main question that I want to see. Did we get rainfall today? Now, for the crazy score, right now, we are, that should probably change over. Yeah, we're at an 18 for tonight. And the reason why we are at an 18 is really just because, number one, those clouds are starting to clear away. Also, cooler temperatures try to move its way in. Completely dry, though, and elevated fire weather conditions still go on. And I believe that the statewide burn ban is still in effect. If I go on and make sure real quick, just to make sure I'm not giving you other information that's not true. Looking at theirs right now, yep. It's still available. It's still out. So there still is that statewide burn ban that's still there in effect. Now, what about for our SPC outlook? Thunderstorms not expected tonight, not expected tomorrow, and definitely not expected on Thursday. Fire weather, though. Fire weather, that's a bit of a concern. Tonight, this is what it looks like, but as we go into the next couple of days, obviously that does change. Monday took a huge uptrend. Huge uptrend. Monday, instead of just up there near Rock Hill, we're talking about almost all of the upstate, Midlands, PD, Grand Strand, even the southern Midlands going on into the northern low country. So we're talking about high elevated fire weather conditions as we go into Monday tomorrow for a good amount of the state. And guess what? We're still not done. Wednesday, April the 22nd, 2026, we have another fire weather risk of 40 to a 69% chance of critical conditions as we go into Wednesday. So make sure that you are aware. Make sure you're not burning anything, as there still is that statewide burn ban, and I don't expect it to be lifted probably all the way through Wednesday. Excessive rainfall is also not expected. Days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're good. Now, what about for our models? We're going to start off here at 9 p.m. As we go on and push this forward, we go all the way through around 4 a.m., going into around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 p.m. Nice and dry. No rainfall. Going through Monday night, going into Tuesday morning. Nice, dry conditions, even going into Tuesday afternoon. So that's something good to look at. If we go on and look at the actual humidity as well, because humidity tells us, what's going on in terms of our fire weather. And you can definitely see dry conditions. I mean, we're talking about dry conditions down to the teens tomorrow for Monday. Tuesday comes along, and again, down to the teens. So let's go in and look at our long-term future, because obviously there's not too much to really talk about short-term wise. But for the week, because this is Sunday, that means that we do have to talk about this week, the week of Sunday, April the 19th, going into Saturday, April the 25th. So now here, as we go in and push this forward, remember that time's at the bottom part of the screen. Going and push this forward through Tuesday, going into Wednesday, going into Thursday, Friday. Then even as we go into Saturday, we finally have some rainfall that's trying to move its way east, maybe a bit towards the south as well of the state, as we go into Saturday night. But again, 140 hours out, things will definitely change here. But it looks like as we continue throughout the rest of the week, temperatures and obviously going to rise up a little bit, which we'll talk about in just a second, but precipitation will stay relatively just out of our hair. Precipitation will stay out of our hair all the way through this week until finally we get into Saturday. That's what the GFS is saying. We can go on and look at the European model. European model, for the most part, kind of has us going through Monday, going through all the way through Wednesday, going through Saturday, barely with any rainfall as well. So kind of in the same boat right now. Kind of in the same boat. If you go on and look at our forecast for the next 168 hours, that's the next 7 days, and we look at how much rainfall we are expected to receive, we go throughout the next 7 days. This does include Saturday, so you do see some rainfall here on the map. So that's why you see 2/10 of an inch, 1/10 of an inch, etc. But let's go on and look at 120 hours. This is Friday. No rainfall through Friday. So I do believe that we most likely will not see any rainfall as we go all the way throughout this week until we get to Saturday. Now, what about for our actual anomalies themselves? So the actual anomalies here kind of just show the same thing that I just said. Below average precipitation. We're talking about precipitation that's not really going to happen until the end of the week. So I do believe that we're going to kind of just stay in this area of trying to just wait it out, see what happens with this drought. And Thursday is going to be an interesting update to check out. It really will be. Now let's go on and look at temperatures, because temperatures are also pretty important to look at. Temperatures seem to be above average in terms of temperatures, above average, meaning that we are talking about potentially more above average temperatures during the week, during that time span, than a good amount of the other part of the week. So it may be hotter, pretty much, maybe more warmer than average throughout the majority of the week. And we can go on and look at that, because even if we go on and look at our anomalies here, you can see we start off below average as we get into Monday. We get into Tuesday a little bit. We're still a bit cooler than average, but look as we get into Wednesday. Look at how we get into Thursday. Warmer temperatures start to take over, and now we're talking about 10 to 12 to 13 degrees above average as we go into next weekend. So now what about past this week? Because obviously we know we're going to have an above average temperature week. We're going to have a below average precipitation week, which means not good for the drought. Means not good for the drought. I mean, we already have a D3 up there in the upstate. We're talking about a D3 over there near Marlboro, D3 down there inside of the low country. How will this expand as we get into Thursday? That's the main question that we're going to have to wait until Thursday to see. So what about past this week? We go into Saturday, Sunday, but one thing that you do see in terms of precipitation is you do see an active increase in terms of rainfall, which is what we want. We want to see more rainfall. We need to see more rainfall if we want to get this drought out. And so we are starting to see more rainfall coming through on Sunday, going into Monday, going into Tuesday. I mean, look at how much rainfall days we may have, not this week, but next week. We kind of calmed down a little bit, but rainfall definitely is going to be back in the forecast as we get into next week. Now, is it going to be a whole lot? Probably not a lot, but it definitely will bring us some relief. How much relief? I mean, we're talking about potentially an inch or two max, maybe even 3 max. As we go throughout the next 384 hours. That definitely will not get the drought out of here. That definitely will not get the drought out of here, but it will help us. It will help us. Now, temperature-wise, temperature as we continue our way forward even more, we may be talking about another little cold blast trying to move through on next week, Sunday or so. But, it does look like for the most part, warmer temperatures still try to stay with us. It's going to be kind of like a little battle zone until maybe some more cooler air try to come on Saturday going into Sunday of May the 2nd, May the 3rd, May the 4th or so. And if we go on and look at our actual temperatures, just like in general, we're talking about temperatures obviously tonight getting down to the 40s. Tomorrow, high temperatures being into like the mid-70s or so, which we talked about that. Tuesday, we're kind of still bringing that trend. But then as we get into Wednesday, now we're talking about 80s going throughout the upstate, going throughout the Midland areas. Thursday, more 80s, but this time, maybe even some mid-80s and maybe even some high 80s as we go into the end parts of this week. We go into Saturday, now we see some 90s. See some 90s now. Low temperatures getting down into around like the 60s or so, which is about normal. We continue all the way towards that 200-hour mark. And, we're going to go on and look at the ensembles, because the ensembles are more member type, meaning that they have a multitude of different models, not a multitude of different models, but a multitude of different members that they use to go on and try and get a mean average for it, to kind of show us what's the trends, what's the pattern going on. And the pattern still shows high temperatures, even as we go all the way through into May. Now, it does seem it may wants to try to cool down a little bit as we get into May, like May the 5th here. So we'll see what happens here, but definitely hot temperatures are coming back. Just because we have these cold temperatures now, does not mean that warm temperatures are done. And it also does not mean that cooler temperatures are done either. Cooler temperatures are definitely still possible. So now that that is out of the way, and now that the week forecast is done, we know it's going to be an above average temperature week. We know it's going to be a below average precipitation week. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, now let me see live chat real quick. Mount Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for that. Mount Lewis says, I pray that everyone enjoyed their Sunday. Well, I did. Thank you so much. And then Mr. Chris says, got you around 74 degrees here in Moncks Corner. Currently, it's around 64. And let me check out my weather report today from my weather station. Seems like right now it's currently 62. High temperature for today was around 79. Then Mount Lewis says today in Georgetown we had partly cloudy skies. Our high was around 78 degrees. Thank you for that weather update. Currently we're at 58. Mr. Chris also says, please remember to go in and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. Absolutely. Right now we've had around a good 8 people tune in and 6 likes. So go and hit the like button. He also says it was very windy here, especially next to the lake. Continue our way down even more. Mount Lewis says we were windy for a while, but no rainfall. Same here, was cloudy all day. Yes, it is cooler outside. Then Mr. Chris says the fire department next to me has been busy today, constantly running throughout the day. Well, obviously with these fire weather concerns and, obviously, even though there's a burn ban in effect, probably still some people burning anyway. And then also, just regular stuff that could happen by accident. So, definitely all could add up to why they're constantly running. Then Thad says, good evening, gentlemen, the 360 Weather family. I trust all is well with everyone. It was a pretty chill day here in San Antonio, not really used to such lows of this time of year. We saw some very active thunderstorms last night. It was epic. Thunder, lightning, it was epic. Well, thank you so much for that weather report. Glad that you got yourself an epic storm last night. Mr. Chris says it did not rain in Moncks Corner. I did ask that question earlier. If you were here in South Carolina, I said go ahead and comment real quick and let me know. Did it rain where you were today? Did it? Then Mount Lewis says in Georgetown, no rain, just cloudy. After the wind, the temperature fell like dominoes. Then my cousin Cheryl comes in and says, good evening. I hope you all had a great weekend. Good evening, weatherman. I trust all the weather. I hope all the weather was good for you. All got a little cold in Philly. So you all have a great week. Be blessed. Thank you so much for that. Cold front that passed by y'all as well. That said, today was overcast all day. We had received some rain, but nothing significant. Trust me, I'm not complaining. My garden is benefiting greatly from the rain. Well, honestly, that's great for your garden. My plant outside is struggling right now. Struggling pretty badly because there hasn't been any sort of rainfall that has fallen in a good amount of time at my house. The last time that it rained at my house, I can just, let's see, it was April the 5th. It's been 2 weeks since it has rained at my house. 2 whole weeks. Trail says, greetings to you. Mount Lewis said, because of the seesaw weather, there's a lot of bad colds or flu symptoms in church today. Yeah, I do believe that. Wish we had some rain here. Trail says it's going to be around 39 here tonight. Yeah, I feel bad for you over there. Feel bad for you all over there. Then Mount Lewis says at one time today it was so cloudy I thought it was going to rain, but it didn't due to my clouds in the back. Due to the clouds, back was hurting me all day. Well, hopefully it is better as you get into tonight. But that's all that I can see here throughout the entire chat. So let's go on and check out the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking 4 areas. What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talked about these 3 areas because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we're going to give them their weather forecast for them. Starting off with San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight, 56. High temperatures for tomorrow at 64. Low temperatures for tomorrow night, 59. Chance of showers tonight. Showers are likely tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. It's also going to be a bit breezy tomorrow. Gusts as high as 20 miles per hour. Now for severe weather, excessive rainfall. You do have a little risk on Tuesday, but it's kind of like right off your border, so I'm not even sure if you're really even going to receive any or not, plus it's a really low threat, so yeah, just keep that in mind. It probably will change, but we'll just see what happens. But again, no severe weather for you as you continue throughout the next 8 days or so. Now, what about for your future? Temperature wise, you're going to definitely go back up. I mean, we're talking about 87 on Saturday, uh, maybe even near 85 on Thursday, 88 on Friday. And it's definitely going to stay active. Mondays, 70% chance. Tuesday, 70%. Wednesday, 40% chance of rainfall. Friday, 20. Sunday, 20. So you're going to be active. Couple of dry days here and there, but definitely still active. Now, what about for Raleigh, North Carolina? You have low temperatures tonight at 43, high temperature for tomorrow at 68, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 36. No precipitation is expected at this time, but you do have some fire weather risk to talk about tomorrow. You have a fire weather risk, and Wednesday you have a fire weather risk. Do not burn anything. Please do not burn anything for Monday, Wednesday, probably even Tuesday as well. Tuesday, I think that they will add a risk. We'll see what happens though, but for right now, they haven't added one yet. Now, what about for your future? For your future, it does look like that you will continue to stay dry. Next chance of rainfall is on Saturday. But for the most part, you're staying dry, and you also are going to stay a bit cool throughout the beginning part of the week. But then Wednesday comes along, jumps right back up to the 80s. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 40, high temperature for tomorrow at 54, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 34. There is a slight chance of showers tomorrow. Going to be a bit breezy tonight as well, 20 miles per hour wind gust or so. And then in terms of your severe weather, in terms of your excessive rainfall, you're not seeing anything there. Temperature-wise, you're going to continue to kind of warm up. I mean, we're talking about 75 on Thursday, maybe dropping down a little bit on Saturday back to the high 60s, maybe even on Sunday to the low 60s again. So you will climb back up, but it's not going to be too long before you die right back down. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 44, high temperature for tomorrow at 73, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 51. No precipitation tonight, but showers, potentially in some storms tomorrow, as you do have a slight chance of thunderstorms and showers tomorrow. You also have a risk of severe weather for Thursday, April the 23rd, so make sure that you are aware. Make sure that your severe weather plans are in place because we take every single weather situation here seriously, no matter if it's severe weather, no matter if it's excessive rainfall, no matter if it's fire weather, no matter if it's a drought, no matter if it's just some winds moving through that could potentially be strong. You know, we take every threat seriously, so make sure that you are aware on Thursday. And then for your future, it does look like that you will go on and continue to kind of warm up. I mean, we're talking about 70s as you go into Wednesday, 80s on Thursday. But then you'll kind of go right back down to the 70s again. And that's all that I have for these areas over here. Let me check out into the chat. Again, Mr. Chris says, everyone, please remember to stay safe and hydrated. This weather is intense. Well, yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. And that's all that I can see here throughout the chat. So let's go on and talk about the top fans of the night for tonight. Seeming like right now, I'm going to count them up. I see around 15. I see 15. 15 for one. Then I see. Then I got 10, 11, and that's 12, 13, 14, 15. So tied both for 15. And then if I check this last one out, well, I mean, that one doesn't really matter. But really just determines on who was here first tonight. Just making sure I did not accidentally count wrong. Yeah, 15. So Maya Lou was here first tonight, so she does get number 1 for tonight. Mr. Chris gets number 2, and then Thad gets number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, as well as being here active, being a subscriber, because if you're not a subscriber, you can't type at all. So let's go on and give them 3 a round of applause for getting the top fans of the night for tonight. So that's all that I have here for tonight. Make sure if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. 728, trying to get to 800. And then share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, and people that you don't talk to regularly because it's free. And not only you, but them can also but they could also share as many times as they want. That's all. Make sure you tune back in tomorrow morning for your Monday morning forecast update. Also tomorrow evening for your Monday evening forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Monday. Not Monday, Sunday, excuse me. I'm already thinking about tomorrow.